Right now, we're on the TikTok Shop creator content. If you want me to move on, just let me know.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get started. You can move to the
Okay.
next slide, and I will on my end too. Just a quick point of clarification: we do have human moderators, so there are actual people who look at these things as well. And I just
Good.
want to make sure that we are clear about that. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I want to talk to everyone today with some tips for successful selling and fewer violations. I know that this stuff is complicated. And we are trying our best to make it easier for you so that everyone kind of understands what the rules are and how we can work within them. If you can go to the next slide.
On it.
All right, perfect. So before we get started, I think it's really important to remember that to keep the platform safe and fun for everyone, TikTok, we do have moderators, regularly reviews the following for policy violations. So we look at carousel posts, we look at your video, your live posts, and we look at product listings. So it's really important to remember that it's not just what the creator says out loud, but it's important to be compliant in what you show on your screen, what you tell, and what's also in the product listing. So all of these rules apply to all three of those parts.
Awesome.
All right, next slide, please.
Okay.
All right, so the first thing we're going to be talking about is health related claims. This is a place where people, there are lots of good things to say, but there are also places where people can run into difficulty. So we're going to talk a little bit about how to keep our content really healthy and keep it really general to avoid violations. Next slide, please.
Good.
All right, great. So we're going to be talking today about weight management claims and medical claims. They have pretty similar rules, but they are both places where people can run into some difficulties. So let's take a minute to kind of level set on what these are. So weight management claims are any explicit claims that a product can cause or aid weight loss or prevent weight management conditions such as obesity or anorexia. We really want our platform to be a healthy place for everyone. We don't want to encourage anything that is bad body image, and we don't want to be making claims about weight loss. So that's one place. And the other thing that we'll be talking about today is medical claims. Medical claims are explicit claims that a product can cure, prevent, or aid medical conditions. And what is a medical condition? It's anything that requires testing, monitoring, planned treatment supervised by experts. So if you think about it, it's anything that you would go to the doctor for. We don't want to say that a product can cure. We want people to be really consulting with their professionals and not following this kind of guidance that a product can cure something. All right, next slide, please.
On it.
All right, so we're going to start, like I said before, about weight management. Weight management claims, claims about weight loss are not allowed. So we want to be really clear that when we make explicit claims that are direct, clear statements about a product's benefits or its effects, that they're not about weight loss. So here's some examples of violating things that people have said. So we don't want to say things like lose weight fast. We don't want to say endorsed by medical experts, this product is the #1 prescription for weight loss. We don't want to say this supplement helped break down my stubborn fat deposits. This tea can help you prevent obesity. Even sharing a before and after picture of weight loss and attributing it to the use of a product is something that is violative on the TikTok Shop platform. So reminder, using your own personal weight management experience to promote a product is considered a claim and it will result in a violation. We're going to break that down a little bit further in the coming up slides. So if we can move forward.
On it.
Awesome. So as I said before, you want to be careful about what you say. You want to be careful about what is included in your background and what's included in your product listings. So we want to be careful about our hashtags. There are some great acceptable hashtags to use when you are talking about healthy living, and those are on the right side of the screen. So it's okay to talk about this product is a great, it's a great addition to my healthy living and include a hashtag like that. It's also okay to say nutrition, healthy lifestyle, meal prep, balanced diet, eat clean. All of those hashtags are acceptable. What we'd want to avoid are anything that is related again to that weight loss, fat burn, lose weight, bone smashing, burn weight, starve maxing. hammer maxing, fat to fit. Those are all hashtags that we would really not like to have on our platform. So be really careful about what is there for you.
I'm not even sure I know
And
what
if you want,
hammer maxing is.
oh, I don't know if you want to know what hammer maxing
Okay, that's
is.
fair.
I will leave that to you to Google on your own.
Okay, that's fair.
But let's not say it on TikTok.
All right, moving on to the next slide for you.
All right. So this slide, we tried to make it pretty, but these are some things that will cause a violation. So we've talked at length now about weight loss claims, which are just explicit claims that a product will help you have weight loss. Making a personal weight loss claim with a product, that personal testimony, also not allowed. Claims with use of images, those before and after images. If you're attributing that to a product, that's not allowed. Also things like timed results. Like this is a hard promise to make, and so we don't want you to make it, but something like, if you take this product, you will be guaranteed to lose weight in 10 days. Any kind of timed results with a promise and a product, not allowed. Detox is a common area where people have questions. There's a lot of products out there that claim to help in detox or bloat. It's okay to talk about detox, but it's not okay to say that the detox will lead to weight loss, especially with the use of a product. So that's a kind of a tricky one, but that's how it is. Also, anything about a target area, like it's any kind of weight loss. It's not just like, oh, this will help you lose weight in your belly. That's still a violation. Clinically approved for weight loss, we don't want to say that. Also a violation. Weight-related conditions, so claims that a product can cure, treat, prevent weight management or weight loss conditions, not allowed. And also, one place where people run into trouble is talking about the ingredients. So sometimes people try and make claims and they say things like, oh, this supplement is powered with this ingredient, which is known to help you lose weight. That's a way to get a violation, actually. So we're going to avoid that as well. All
Okay,
right,
that's
I've
really
been
good to
talking
know.
a lot. Let's do one more slide if you don't mind.
Okay, of course. All right.
All right, so here, this like kind of follows on to the one we just did, the ingredients. So don't use words and phrases. We've got some examples here. I don't know about all of these ingredients, but we don't want to say things like formulated with conjugated linoleic acid. This supplement helps reduce body fat. Again, it's really that weight loss claim that's associated with the ingredient that's going to get you in trouble. There's some other examples here. We can provide you with this deck afterwards, so you can read about these ingredients at your leisure. But for now, there's some more examples here on the screen, and we want to avoid those.
Some.
And we'll move on.
Okay. And on to
All
the
right.
next one.
All right, here's some words. So these are like those weight loss words that are going to get you in trouble for making kind of a direct claim. So anytime you make a weight loss claim along with a product that you're attributing to that result, and one of these words, that's a violation. So weight loss aid, lose weight, fat burner, fat reduction, slim down, tone and burn fat, shed weight, lose inches, instant fat burn, lean burn. It's okay to talk about those things if you're not talking about a product, but if you're using those words to promote the benefit of a product, that is not a good thing to do.
Copy.
All right, and this is all on our Policy Center right now. If you go into the Policy Center, we've got a direct link to this deck, so this is not a secret. All right.
Awesome.
But a lot of people don't really know how to use the Policy Center yet, so I want to make sure that we're going over it here as well.
Of
All
course.
right, so here's some words that are okay to say. Balanced diet, healthy eating, eat clean, nutrition, keto diet, food is fuel, healthy choices. Again, it kind of goes back to that, keep it really general and keep it healthy.
I think these are good though.
And
I think they're very, very, I mean, they are general, but they also get the point across. So I think that's definitely something nice to have.
excellent. Yeah, I agree. Next slide, please.
Okay.
All right. And again, it's always okay to make general healthy lifestyle choices that relate specifically to detoxes, bloating. Use things like this. It enhances my energy. It helps me feel less constipated. I feel less sluggish, lethargic. This supports my balanced diet. Those things are okay to talk about and okay to say along with a product. I would give you the advice that all of these things are really good to add a disclaimer to. It is not required, but when you do, it's just like out of the safety and kindness of your heart to anyone watching. You don't want to make a guarantee that someone takes this product and they all of a sudden have amazing energy. So it's good to say things like, your results may vary. This worked for me. Do your research before trying. Consult with your doctor or other healthcare advisor first. Um, those are really good things to call out. Not required, again, for general wellness, but they're a really good thing to do, and they help keep our platform safe for everyone. Except these disclaimers can also be displayed. If you don't want to talk about them, you can put them in the listing, you can put them in your background, and they can be there for everyone. And again, just a best practice for safety of everyone.
Can I ask a quick
Oh,
question in regard to that real fast?
sure.
So with those disclaimers, do those help? Does that lessen the risk? I mean, obviously, when you're using the keywords that are accepted, does having one of those disclaimers also lessen the risk of catching a violation with it being verbal or written?
I don't think that we are really looking for disclaimers,
Sure.
but I do think it's just a really good best practice.
Okay.
I think, I would never want to make a guarantee that a product is going to solve something for someone else, and then have it not work for them. So
Sure.
it's just a good best practice here.
Okay.
Great question. All right, let's see. Okay, so next slide. We're just going to kind of sum this up a little bit more.
Okay.
So, what is allowed? Talking about general conditions, relaxation, energy, well being, without suggesting a medical or weight related benefit. That's very safe to do. Sharing your own experience without a product. That's okay to do. And you can also share that with some of these products that I list in number 3, which are exempted. So you can talk about weight loss claims if you're talking about like, oh, I've been running on the treadmill, and with that treadmill use, I've lost like 5 pounds. I've been doing walking, it's very healthy. That's okay to say. So exempted are sports equipment, body measuring devices, clothing, diet, exercise plans, coaching, that's okay, and any books related to weight management. You can talk about shapewear, but only if you're saying like, I feel thinner when I wear this, or it has a slimming effect, that you're not saying like, oh, I'm wearing this so that I can't eat and then I will lose weight. That would not be allowed.
Okay. It's good to know.
Okay, and let's see. We're going to go over medical claims in just a few minutes, but so hold on to those. But I'm going to go through just a few more slides here. There's one more best practice slide here.
Okay.
Okay, so this is just a section we call don't do this instead. So explicit claims, again, those are a big no-no. Any claims that a product can cause or aid weight loss. But instead, promote healthy habits. Share your tips and tricks on healthy habits and lifestyle. That's great. We're not going to promote weight loss in our words, our hashtags, in our listing, but we can promote general wellness. Giving your general wellness tips without giving or implying any form of medical advice, that is allowed. False claims. I don't know if we had a slide about that, maybe at the very beginning in the one with all the squares, but making false claims, no, that's not allowed either. And they really are going to hurt you as a creator because it can cause distress with your audience. And then another just best practice is stay up to date. The TikTok Shop Academy has best practices on all kinds of things that you can do when you're creating content. And it's a really good idea to check that out pretty frequently because these change. These change all the time. And right now the trend is like, we're really working hard to make them easier to understand. We're trying to get more resources to you so that you can really answer your questions and find that information on the Policy Center. And we're trying to, we understand that this is like complex and there's a lot of rules, but we are really working hard as a company to make them easier to understand and easier to follow.
Where can we access the Policy Center? I think that's kind of a confusing term for a lot of people. I don't think that's something a lot of people are aware about.
So we can share a link out after
Sure.
about that.
Okay.
Sometimes it's really easy to just Google TikTok Shop Policy Center US.
Okay.
Make sure you include the US because there are other TikTok shops. But we will also share out a link with you after so that
Wonderful.
everyone has that.
That'll be a direct access link too. That's awesome. Okay, good, 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 good. All right. Do I need to move on to the next slide for you?
Yeah, go ahead. You know what?
Yep.
We're going to skip this next one. It just is showing some examples of exempted products, and we talked about that. So books, diet plans, equipment, those are okay to talk about.
Okay.
And let's see. We're going to skip the examples. I think maybe I just have them on my screen and you don't have them on yours.
Okay.
Should we pause here and we'll take some questions and then we can do medical claims as the next section?
Sure, sure. So everybody in chat right now, if you could, not everybody all at once, but I'm sure there's going to be a few. I'm going to cherry pick a couple of questions out of there that are going to kind of be a little bit more important, in my opinion, towards this. So if you guys could throw a couple of questions down there, and I'm going to go ahead and ask some of those over to Emily, so that way she can take a look at them or hopefully answer them to the best of her abilities for us. Oh, this is actually a good one. Smart scales, because they track your progress with something along the lines on smart scales promoting it, saying this could track your fat loss or this could track the fluctuations in your weight. Is that something, because it's not exercise equipment, but it's not a product to help you lose weight, but people do tend to get quite a few violations when promoting those because of the terms weight loss. What would be
Yeah,
best
if you want
practice
to,
there?
yeah, if you want to go back to the slide that we had a few slides ago about equipment,
Okay.
and also, let's see if I can
Body
find
measuring
it.
devices. Okay. So
Body
that would,
measuring devices. Yep, that's exempt. That's okay to talk about.
okay. And if they do catch a violation on that, best practice of getting it overturned, do they just reference these segments here? That's
I
kind of a
think the best
question there.
practice is for them to submit an appeal through the appeal
Right.
center, and just call out what that is.
Okay.
We do have human moderators, and sometimes we do make mistakes, so do submit that appeal.
Sure. Okay. Let's see here. What else do we have? Um, so goalie, obviously, that's a really, really big one, especially on TikTok right now. I think they're the number one brand. A lot of people are nervous to say any sort of benefits behind that. I assume that might be more towards the medical claim side of things that we're getting into, so we might hold off on that question.
Yeah, for sure. But one thing I can say that kind of falls under like the general health rule, goalie, you can say things like, "Oh, I seem to feel really a lot more relaxed when I take this product."
Okay.
Just using those general terms is going to be really helpful. And as we get into the next section, I'll tell you some things that you're not allowed to say. But goalie vitamins, there's definitely things that you can say.
Okay, that'll be a nice one that we can go over, because that's obviously one of the biggest ones that we're pushing and promoting right now. Let's see here. What else do we have? Do you have any knowledge to touch base on what we should send in send in as proof for these appeals?
Yeah, absolutely. As much documentation as you can provide is really helpful to the people who are looking at these claims and looking at the appeals. So,
Okay.
if you make a snippet of your whole video, sometimes that's really helpful because if it's just being moderated and they've only seen a piece of it, maybe they've missed something, that's really helpful to share out and just really share your story.
Okay. Let's see here. Oh, where did my camera go? Are you just gonna shut off now?
I
Oh
think there
no,
was a
that's him. That
question.
threw me way off. You
Sorry,
replaced me. No, you're
guys.
totally fine.
My name is Jason. I also work at TikTok.
All
Nice to
right.
I
Should
meet
we
you.
move on to medical claims?
Oh, I don't know. Can you hear him, Emily?
Emily,
No.
can you hear me?
Oh, Jason's speaking right now.
Oh,
Okay. One thing. So, I'm on the health category
Okay.
as a team lead and overseeing a lot of our top brands. So this is it's been a sticking point for us too. So we're so happy that this new guidance came out and so happy that we can talk to you. I'm seeing some questions on, um, let's see, unoriginal content. Emily, perhaps we can touch on that. Um, Ask for an update on over moderation. So um, there, like Emily was saying, there has been a lot of focus on moderation, and there are human moderators. They are getting trained constantly, and all these changes that you're seeing and all this new guidance has been rolled out over the last couple weeks, and the policy updates, the guidance, the moderation fixes, there's been significant effort done in just the last couple weeks. This has the attention of some very senior leadership.
Okay.
So know that um, uh, we want to do things the right way, and there's a lot of attention being paid to all parts of the process.
Sure. Awesome. And that's that. Thank you for clarifying that as well, because there's been a lot of issues with that, especially with some of these products. It just seems to feel, some people feel as if, there's it's targeted towards those products in general, which makes sense because when you have a very viral product, you tend to get a lot of misinformation put out. So a lot of these creators are just spewing BS, for lack of a better term, about what the product does, which does suck, and it makes it harder for a lot of the other creators. So thank you for clarifying that as well.
All right,
Um,
back to you.
I don't know if she can hear you. Emily, can you hear him?
I can barely hear him because I think he's in the room next door.
Okay.
Hi, Jason, in the other room.
That's funny. All right. Well, he went ahead and put the floor back to you. So I think we can go ahead and
All
move
right,
on from here and get
let's
into
do
a few
it.
other things.
Thanks for adding on, Jason. I'm sure you said really good stuff.
He
All
did.
right, so let's move on and take a look at medical claims.
Okay. On to the next
All
slide.
right. Okay, so and then let's go to the one after this with the rules and requirements on it.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So now that you're all experts on weight loss claims, some of this is going to seem really easy to you because they are very close. So we've got some rules and requirements when it comes to health-related claims. And I'll just read these to you a little bit. So explicit claims are not allowed. Again, any direct, clear statement about a product's health benefits or effects, whether voiced by the creator or in text or video description, are not allowed. And we're going to talk about what things you can talk about and what things you can't. There's a difference between health related and medical, and we'll look at a couple of different ones. And if you remember, we talked about in the beginning, medical is something that you would see your doctor for or get tested for. And we've got a whole list of those conditions. So we'll go over that in just a second.
Okay.
False health claims, also not allowed. This includes images or videos of doctors or nurses alongside a product. If you're just showing that image without any dialogue, that is sort of trying to indicate that the product is recommended by medical professionals, that can lead to a violation. And let's see, implied images. So images or videos of actual severe medical conditions or symptoms alongside the product to indicate that it cures the condition. So I've seen sometimes like some emojis of some nice healthy lungs next to a product, trying to like indicate in the listing or in the text that will cure your lung cancer. Not allowed. So we want to be careful again with what you say, what you see, what you show.
Okay.
Creator content is another category here. So prohibited advice from the creator or images with the product to indicate prohibited claims. And we'll talk about those in another slide, but that's basically like, you don't need a doctor, just take my advice and take this supplement. Not really a good practice, and it will lead to a violation, but we'll go into more depth about that.
Okay.
And then again, any content containing medical claims is prohibited. And we'll talk about the difference between a medical claim and a general health claim, I think on the next slide. Let's see what's next.
Okay. Moving on.
All right, so explicit medical claims are not allowed, just to kind of drive this point home. Content that shows before and after comparisons and attributes it to a product. If it's a medical issue, that's prohibited. or something really direct, like the creator saying, this tea removes parasites, or this cream cures lupus. Really direct claims about medical conditions, not allowed.
Okay.
Next slide. Also, similar to when we're thinking about weight loss, false health statements are not allowed. So things like, oh, this is better than a prescription only product, or this is better than a healthy balanced diet, or this product is the miracle, or it holds the secret cure to a medical condition. Those are false statements, and they're bad form. I think they're kind of dangerous. Let's just not do that. That's a violation.
Okay. Moving on.
Okay, and the next slide. Here's the one that we were talking about a second ago. So prohibited advice from the creator. If the creator or content discourages seeking proper health consultation from professionals, that's not allowed. A creator or content encouraging self-diagnosis based on symptoms, we don't want to do that. Checking your symptoms easily without needing a doctor, that's also a violation. I think we've talked already about the images, and implying that the product has been endorsed or recommended by medical professionals by
Okay.
using images. All right. Medical claims. We're getting to the words, I promise. We're going to get to the conditions.
Oh, you're good.
But here again, just to tell you, like, these are some things we don't want to say. Like, they're just bad form, and they're dangerous. So saying things like, this product will cure cancer, this product eliminates parasites, this helped with my diabetes symptoms, this product will remove depression and treat anxiety. Not allowed.
That one's a rough one. I did get a violation for that for talking about ADHD and anxiety, and I think anxiety was the trigger word.
Yep. Let's take a look on the next slide, and this will be really helpful, I think.
Okay. And we're there.
All right. Next slide.
Excuse me.
Okay, here's the one that I think is really helpful because I think it can be confusing what is medical and what is general health that's allowed to talk about. So if you pair a product with one of these medical conditions and a claimed effect, that gets you a violation. So medical conditions, again, AIDS, Alzheimer's, appendicitis, all kinds of cancer, cysts, dementia, diabetes, gallstones, hepatitis, all of the things on this list are medical conditions, and you don't want to say that a product is going to cure or prevent, relieve, treat, any other word that's a synonym of those. And I do not see ADHD on this list, so I know that we have been really working on the violations, but it doesn't look like that is violative. I would still be really careful if you talk about your ADHD. I would
Sure.
be really careful and say, this is my experience.
Sure.
Consult your doctor, everything else. But these right now are the lists of what is violative.
Doesn't look like anxiety's up there either. What that was that previous slide though? Okay.
All right, let's move on. Okay, next slide. So here's kind of a tricky one. What about saying something like, this candy is diabetic friendly? A lot of people would think that because you mentioned diabetes, that that's not allowed. Diabetic friendly is okay to say, because that's probably claiming something like this doesn't have a lot of sugar. And it's not a medical condition. It doesn't claim that the product can cure, relieve, prevent diabetes. So that statement is not a violation. Of course, I'm just like a big proponent of saying, hey, you know what? But do your own research before you
I've
try
learned to
this.
start doing that.
And again, it's not something that we check for, but I just think it's like such a good practice, and it just keeps us all safer.
Sure. Okay.
All right, next slide. All right, general wellness tips. These things are all good. So things like enhances my energy, helps me relax, improves relaxation. I feel less worried, less stressed. My stress feels eased. My sleep is improved. It boosts my mind, supports my well-being. Very similar to with those weight loss claims. They're very general. They're good wellness tips. And you compare those with the product. But even better, again, just with a nice disclaimer, like this worked for me, might not work for you.
Sure.
Yeah, but these
Oh,
things are all okay to talk about.
okay.
Okay, next slide. All right. So let's take a look here. So here's our don't do this instead. So very similar. No explicit claims that a product can cure, prevent, aid medical conditions that require testing, monitoring, and planned treatment supervised by experts. Not allowed. Instead, go ahead, promote those healthy habits, promote general wellness, and stay up to date by looking at the TikTok Shop Academy. False claims, prohibited advice, and trying to sneak a claim into your images, not allowed.
Okay.
All right, and that's it for medical. So if you want, I can take some questions here.
Yeah, let's go ahead and go through some of those questions. Let's see here. Let's go guest, bring us full screen. So one question that I personally have when it comes to this, exaggerated claims and misleading claims. Those, are we going to be touching base on that further on, or is that something? Okay, so I should hold off on that then. Okay.
Hold up on that one.
Okay.
But great. I'm excited to talk to you about it.
Sure. So one of the things that a lot of us had issues with too, with Goalie in particular, is going to be a really big topic of discussion because it is a product that we're pushing very heavily. But the ADHD and the anxiety side of things, that is something that got a lot of people violations. But I'm wondering if it was more along the lines of the exaggerated claims and misleading. So I think, okay, we'll hold off on that. But let's go ahead and ask some questions in regards
that
to what
could be. And that brings up such a good point, Bruce. Bryce, I'm sorry.
you're totally
Um,
fine.
You don't really look like a Bruce. But that brings up such a good point, is that everything you say, everything that you show in your content, it doesn't just have to meet the bar for like the medical claim rules. It also has to meet the bar for everything else.
Right.
So
Okay.
you also can't be misleading. You can't also be like in a still frame. There's a lot of them, and I'm sorry, I know it's a lot to keep track of, but you have to meet the bar for all of the things.
Sure, sure. I mean, it is trial and error. I mean, as unfortunate as it is in terms of catching those violations, it really is just trial and error. I mean, we have to make sure that some of those things that we say don't go against the guidelines. And sometimes we slip up on that because we're not paying attention to another sector of it. We're only focusing on maybe not the medical claims instead of the misleading claims. So, all right, let's see here. Anybody have
I
any?
did want to just add
Yes, ma'am.
also, sorry,
No, you're good.
that is the full list of medical conditions.
The one that we just saw.
Yes.
Let's pull that back up for everybody. Right here, the medical AIDS, Alzheimer's, appendicitis. That's the full list of medical conditions. So, depression, anxiety, ADHD. That's not on this for medical conditions.
That's not on this. No.
So
And it might be that the rules have changed,
okay,
or it might be
interesting.
that it was misleading. So
Right.
we'll
No,
take a look
I
at the
think
other
that's what.
policies.
Yeah, I think that's more or less what it's coming down to is the misleading side of things. Okay, interesting. That's been a really big thing people have been staying away from is utilizing those terms. So, all right. Okay. Anybody have any questions here? Let's see. I've got quite a few. Are words like promote or help okay to use?
Promote or help. I would say it's kind of, are those synonyms of prevent, cure, or relieve? Those are the things that we're looking out for.
Got you. So any sort of
So,
synonym that relates to that, we want to stay clear from.
right.
Got you. Okay. Okay. Um, let's see here. It's so hard to pick out these questions because there's so many, and a lot of them are good, but it's difficult. Looks like we have.
Bryce,
Yes, sir.
I can touch on a few of these questions.
Okay. Hold on one second. I don't think she can hear you. Emily, can you hear? Okay. Jason is back on here, so I'm going to let him touch on a couple of
Just
these.
listen to the wall.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah, just listen to the wall. Okay, let's see. So anxiety wasn't on that list. That means you can talk about it. Eczema wasn't on that list, right? So if it's not on that, you just have to look at that list and see what is on it.
Okay.
That is the biggest direction that we can give you. Look at that list. We'll send you the deck after. Look at the list, see what's on it, and then if it's not on it right now, it's okay.
Okay. Real quick, Jason, if you could answer this. This has been one of the questions I've seen multiple different times. What if people are actual physicians? Like, what if they're an NP? Are they allowed to utilize their knowledge as a medical professional to help promote these products, or is that something that's because it can't be proven in that sense, or they're not recognized by the platform as a medical professional, that they're not allowed to utilize their knowledge with that? That's
Wait,
kind
let
of a
me throw
tough
that
one.
back
I
up.
I hear you. I hear you. Okay. So the answer to that is if you are a doctor or a nurse, you can talk about that you are a doctor or a
Okay,
nurse or a healthcare provider. But I would be very cautious still about making any medical claims
sure.
or weight loss claims. It is still not allowed, even if you are a doctor or a nurse. And I would be very cautious there, and I would also use my disclaimers.
Sure. Okay,
That's right,
awesome.
because and the reason for that is because currently there's no way for TikTok to verify your credentials, right?
Right.
So um, can't like we can't see you, even if we see you in a coat, even if you have like a license that you show, there's no current way to verify. So it's a blanket policy that no matter your profession, you cannot make the medical claims that we laid out.
Okay. I keep seeing a lot about snatched waist, guys. If it's a synonym to weight loss or to losing weight, I would honestly recommend staying away from anything that promotes that. If it is a synonym to it, stay away from it. Just do your best to stay away from it. I stay away from anything weight related. I had too many issues with that in the past before I understood how any of this worked. So just stay away from that.
Yeah.
Um,
And I'm seeing a lot of questions on like could assist. There was that question about promote, like help. I would be more cautious about the conditions that you are trying to help and benefit. Those are the ones that you really need to stay away from. And it doesn't matter if you try to treat one of those conditions with a synonym of a word, like that's going to get you in trouble. I would just stay away from those conditions directly.
okay.
But if you want to say something like, a reason for Alzheimer's um, is because of, I don't know. I don't know if this medical is correct, but is because of elevated insulin levels, an ingredient that is known to treat insulin levels is this. This is my favorite product that has this ingredient. If you draw that line, that is okay. You just can't say this product will treat my Alzheimer's.
Okay, that makes sense.
And there's a really good like just safety reason behind any of this is, we just want to make sure we're not making promises and people don't see their doctor and get good medical advice.
What about just one more thing? Because I keep seeing it pop up like crazy. Hair growth. Mary Ruth's is a big company, and they promote hair growth. I notice a lot of people have gotten violations for that as well. But again, I think that all falls into the exaggerated claims side of things. To be honest with you.
Yeah, there are a few different things that can fall into misleading, into exaggeration, and if you go into things like hair growth, and you just want to make sure that you're not violating the other rules as well. Um, yeah, I think that is the big thing to pay attention to. Like you're not making direct claims about health growth. You don't say this is going to guarantee that your hair will grow. Hey, it was my experience that I used this and my hair looks better. I think that's fine to say. It's making that claim that it will guarantee, or
Ah,
if it's a time related thing, like this is going to grow your hair back in 6 weeks. Like, don't do that. You don't know.
right,
Um,
right.
things like that.
Okay, okay, that makes sense. Awesome. I don't want to take too much more time on that sector of things if we want to move forward here.
Let's go ahead and move forward. Let's see. Okay, I think we are on to original content.
Yes. Tip: create and share your own original content.
Original content. Okay. So, we want to make sure that we are not using other creators' content. We are not using recordings from concerts or films, etc. We want to be showcasing our own original ideas, and we're going to share more about that in the next section. So, if you want to move forward,
Okay.
we will talk a little bit more about the rules for this. All right, so we want to make sure these are all the no's, okay? Posting content imported or stolen from other sources, violation. Recording screens from a phone is a violation. Re-uploading somebody else's live stream or re-uploading your own live stream is a violation. Live stream should be live.
Interesting.
Live, yeah, yeah.
It-
See, reproduce content. So live stream that contains scenes from film, TV, programs, music, concert, theatrical performance, music videos, not allowed. Content imported from another TikTok live stream in your live stream is not allowed, as we're trying to be live and interactive and engaging. Camera recordings from a monitor or screen are not allowed. Filming from other devices. So if the content is visibly recorded from a different electronic device, that is not allowed. And display from another device. So content that features a TV, a laptop, a computer, smartphone, projector, tablet that are displaying a video or live stream as the primary focus are not allowed. And the reason behind some of these, like some of them are like, this is stolen, just don't do it. And we can all understand that. The difference for the other ones, the ones that are like recording and filming and using other devices, is that when you're doing a live stream, we want you interacting with your audience. We want you engaging. We don't want you to just like play a video for the whole thing and not be talking to your audience, answering questions, promoting things. So it's more just about like the engagement there, if that helps at all. With how this works.
I do have one quick question on this.
Yeah.
In regard to showing off how to get a particular deal or showing that, hey, this is on sale. I see a lot of people either using still images for that and pointing up or recording another screen. Does that go against this as well?
We're going to talk about that example in
perfect.
just a few slides. That's a great thing to ask. Thank you. All right. So the next slide is about creating original content. Again, the do's are things like new, creative, interactive edits when you're uploading content or media, unique content through videos and lives about your brand, your story, your process, and products. That's all good. Avoid using reproduced content that belongs to another creator, regardless of the platform. Avoid using screen recordings in place of actual live stream content. Okay. And TikTok Shop prohibits the use of unoriginal content such as copyrighted material, anything on this list, films, TV shows, sport matches, music videos, concerts, all those things where they say, hey, you're not allowed to record this. Please don't record it anyway and share it on TikTok. That's not okay. It is okay to use copyrighted material if it serves an educational and informative purpose, such as sharing knowledge, skills, commentary, if it provides information about a promoted product. Reproduce content from other sources, such as videos or lives from other creators, not allowed. And again, that recorded screens of other devices. We prohibit the use of unoriginal content, and you should only really post content that is your own.
So recording like a clip from a, say, Joe Rogan podcast for the educational purpose of whatever the product is, like ashwagandha, for example, that is something that's okay as long as it's not the primary focus of the video and you're moving on from there. Yep. Interesting.
And
that
it's
is
not copyrighted. Like you want to just make sure.
Right, because that's on a live stream.
Okay,
that's right. Interesting. Yep. Okay, cool. Yeah. I am so glad to get that clarification.
Yep. And the other thing that I was going to mention is I think where people run into trouble when showing those other screens of like the product page or the listing page is it runs into a still frame violation. So it's just like showing this thing instead of interacting with the content, showing the product, demonstrating it, talking about its effects. You don't want to just have a live stream where you're just like showing.
Okay, interesting. Okay. Do we need to move to the next slide from here?
I think we're done. That is the content that I
have to
share. Yeah. So I'm happy to stay on and answer a few more questions.
Yeah, so we actually didn't jump into the exaggerated claims or the misleading claims. Can we touch base a little bit on that?
Yes. Let me pull up. I don't think you have access to those slides because we were not planning on that, but I have them. So let me just find
Is
them.
that in the
Just
full
one
deck, the one that's got like 70?
It is in the full deck that is posted online.
Okay.
So you can read about it there. Let me find that section of my deck here, and I am happy to talk about it. One second.
Okay. And then I do have kind of an important question here that a lot of us inside the community have been curious about, and it's in regard to the rules and the terms of service changing and getting violations after the change from a video that was made prior to.
Yep, that is a great question. I know that we do look at all content. So that is something, and it's a reason why you need to be kind of reviewing the policies and checking it out. And if you see something that is in your old content and you're like, oh, that's a violation, it's best to remove that.
Awesome. Even if it's viral? That's kind of a
Yes.
big question there, because when you do remove those videos, you take away your like count. Okay, interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Let me grab that information about
Yes, ma'am.
misleading real fast, and I will be happy to talk about that. Yeah. Um,
Elaine, I don't think that's a direct question here. I don't think that's a feature that they handle. Um, I personally have run into some issues with unoriginal content using the delete and re-edit option, because shop videos are very, very uh, keen to being only original. I would maybe just be leery about utilizing that, and if you mess up, I would honestly maybe get rid of the entire video and reshoot that. That one's a little tricky. Are you aware of that feature, Emily? Are you able to speak on that, or is that something that's kind of out of y'all's field there?
That's out of my scope right
Okay.
now. But I
Okay.
can tell you about misleading.
Yes, go ahead. Excited for this.
All right, so here are some bullet points around misleading. And again, it's like every content you create, you want to make sure you're hitting the bar for all of the policies. So for misleading, before and after comparisons, so again with that hair growth, content that shows the effects or results of a product using before and after visual comparisons, you need to include a disclaimer.
Mm,
Without a disclaimer, that is a violation.
okay.
Same with performance promises. So content that states an effect or a result within a specific time period are not allowed without a disclaimer. Anything that goes against scientific theory is not allowed. And by scientific theory, we are talking about content that claims a product has supernatural, magical, divine properties, claims that a product has been blessed or enchanted. A product can bring you wealth, fortune, money, good luck, love, cause breast growth or penis growth. That is prohibited. And then the other one on misleading is digitally generated effects. So especially if you are going to be promoting a beauty thing, you want to not be, showing a filter. You want to be
Sure.
showing the actual effects.
Okay.
So no filters, no video edits applied to the content to exaggerate the effects of the product that you're trying to promote. And then let's see, there's some more information here, but I think it's better if people actually can see it. So I would encourage you all to go to the Policy Center and grab this deck and look at it. I'll talk through this as well, about performance promises and before and after. So we want to make sure that claims that a product will remove, treat, reduce, etc., moles, acne, severe cases only, wrinkles, freckles, dark spots, birthmarks, scars, stretch marks, eye bags, face and neck tightening, hair growth within a defined time period, or as a before and after, are not allowed unless they are for an exempted product, which are, and bear with me, we'll talk about this. Exempted products are beauty instruments like red light therapy, helmets, face stickers like pimple patches, facial devices like gua sha, makeup products, wigs, clothing. Um, those are exempted and can be talked about. Or you can make those claims if they're true, not false and not exaggerated, with an acceptable disclaimer. And the disclaimers need to be from your own personal viewpoint. So that it needs to be, and you can do it in verbally or in text, um, from the first person point of view. So I, me, myself, mine, we, us, ours, ourselves. So results may vary. This was my personal experience. Your results may vary. I used this product for 10 days and it changed my face. Your results may vary depending on consistent use. So
Okay.
those are the disclaimers that you would want to use with any kind of those claims.
Okay. What page are you on this deck, by the way? I've got that pulled up.
I'm on page 56, and I'm not sure if you have that one because I didn't want us to accidentally go out of scope, but this is all available online in the Policy Center. It's linked at the bottom of any of the policies that we have discussed.
Sure. Yeah, I have that there. It's not the same page though. This one's like 77 pages. But it's not the same 56. It doesn't look like so. Okay, we'll make sure to include that doc for everybody though, or at least the link to the Policy Center, so that way everyone can go over this. I urge everyone to save this and keep it in your phone, keep it as reference, because this is going to be like your pocketbook to kind of help avoid mismoderation, violations, unoriginal claims. The deck that she's referring to is a lot more in depth than the one that we went over on this live session. And the reason for that is we wanted to kind of condense this and keep it in less than a 2-hour time frame, because this can get really long. But the full deck will be available for everybody. It's definitely worth looking into. I do have another question as well, and this relates to I guess you would call it the front end side of TikTok, the terms and conditions. A lot of us have been getting the promotion of regulated goods violation on like Grun's gummies or Goli gummies and things of that nature. It's not a shop violation, but it's a community guidelines violation, which puts a strike against your account. Is there any particular like best practice? Because I don't know how that's triggered. And the last one I got it on was a video that wasn't even going over benefits of the product. It just somehow got flagged for trade of regulated goods.
Yeah, that is a great question. It might be because of the category. It wasn't posted in the right category. It might be because it's something that requires some sort of a certification. We have some rules around that with prohibited products. And it might be something, and I'm just guessing here because this isn't one of the ones that
Right. And I
am very
apologize for
skilled on.
throwing that at you, but
No. But and it might be something like, you know how a lot of products are just like illegal in California.
yeah.
It could be something like that.
Okay.
So I would encourage you to look at the Policy Center and see if it's just like there's a disclaimer you could have added or anything else like that should
Right.
be in the community guidelines online.
Okay.
And
That's
I
good to
know there's a lot to keep track of, and it's hard out there for
Yeah.
creators. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's tough too, because it's hard for us to get in contact with the right areas in live chat, as it is somewhat of a nice feature. Sometimes it's just a little bit difficult to get the point across in the right direction. So, but just everyone needs to make sure we utilize that live chat feature as well, and utilize the opening of a ticket, because the ticket system is there for a reason.
Absolutely.
So awesome, cool. Well, let's go through. I don't know how much more time do you think you have on your hands here? I do want to ask a couple of questions from the chat here.
Let's see. We are 5 minutes over. I can do another 5 minutes.
Okay, that's perfect. Let's do that. I don't know if this is a question for you, but I've seen it pop up like 20 times. Can people buy from their own showcase? That's probably not in your scope, huh?
I have no idea. That's a great question.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay.
But I would check into the Policy Center. You've stumped me there.
Right. Okay. And then
Yeah.
in regards to unoriginal content, because this is a violation portion of things, when batch recording, is best practice to just kind of change articles of clothing here and there, make sure you're in a different background and stuff like that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
And do you suggest changing shirts every video when batch recording and changing location?
I would.
Okay.
I think that you want your content to look different than your other content, just because, there could be moderation mistakes, but I think that's a really good best practice.
Okay. And then when traveling,
Background should be different at your clothing. Yes?
sure. And then when traveling, I a lot of people have a question, like if they go on a cruise or if they travel out of the country or something of that nature, don't post any sort of shop videos, correct? In risk of violation there. It's kind of a
You
difficult
stumped
one.
me there too.
Right.
I don't know
Kind of a
the
difficult
answer
one.
to that. We can look
Okay.
into that and get back to you for sure.
No worries. I'm gonna
These
go
are great
through.
questions.
I know, and I know a lot of these probably are just kind of all over the place, but I'm gonna also personally be going through all of that policy center and finding out a lot of these answers myself as well. But I figure we might as well try to ask while we're
Yeah,
able
I
to.
appreciate it.
Yeah, we don't get this opportunity very often, so this is really helpful. And thank you, for doing this. Let's see here. Can we record from our own phones, show deals and coupons? We touched base on this one earlier. I'll give an answer to that a little bit later on because we did answer that already. Let's see here. Ooh, this is a good question. Do violations suppress the views on videos going forward, or is it just on the video that got violated?
Yeah, I don't really know the answer to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's just so many questions. A lot of this too, I'm sure we can go through and create a doc on our own to get these answers for, because I know these are all answered inside that policy center. I know all of them are. But we can't delete a shot video. How do we protect views? You can delete a shot video. It's obviously not best practice, but if you do have a violation or something that you think might be a violation, it's recommended to delete that video. It is recommended to do that. Got all the violation for weight management claim while promoting a treadmill. All I mentioned was treadmill is a weight limit. Please clarify. I don't know if there can be a direct clarification on that. Weight management claim.
I would submit that as an appeal.
Okay. That could be a mismoderation in that sense. Okay.
Yep.
And clothing with pictures or writing, get the video depressed. That's actually a great question. Trademark violations. Wearing a shirt
man.
with like Nike or something on it. Is that just something that's caught? Because that's a difficult one as well.
That is, my IPR expert is typing to me in the chat, and she says no brands in videos.
No brands in videos, regardless. Got you. There.
Thank you, Kimberly.
Let's see here. Can you get a violation if you delete? No, you cannot get a violation if you delete. If you delete, the video's gone. Shooting a goalie video example. There's some of these questions just don't pertain to you in any way, shape, or form. So I'm trying to filter through these. I've got about a minute left to ask you one more question. AJ,
If you've already received the violation, it will still stay in your account even if you do delete. But
Right.
if you haven't received it yet, you're fine.
the 180-day violation, now that the points are moving to 180 days, 6 months before they drop off. Do you have any knowledge in that sector of things?
I want to get back to you on that
Okay.
because I wasn't sure if that was going to remain 90. So I don't know the answer to that.
Okay, that's fair. And the delete and re-edit feature, that one's a big question as well. A lot of people do the delete and re-edit, and when they do the re-edit and it re-uploads, they get an unoriginal violation for that. And I'm assuming because it was already uploaded once, then taken off and then re-uploaded, that's what triggers that. So I wouldn't use that feature on shot videos. Maybe on regular videos, but not shot videos. Okay. All right. Well, I'm not going to keep you
getting
here.
an answer. Nope. I thought my magic helper was going to help me with the 90 or 180 days.
It's in the TOS now that it's 180 days.
Okay, then I would believe that.
Okay, so it's definitely the other question to that is if any. I probably won't ask you this, but it's if any other violations, if the 90 moves to 180, if there was already a violation in place. I don't think that would be the case, to be honest. Okay, well, I think that'll conclude this. I don't want to keep you any longer. You've already given us an extra 5 minutes of your time, and I can't tell you how grateful we are for having you guys come on, especially as a member with TikTok, because this is not something that happens very often, and a lot of people don't really have this opportunity. So thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing this, and thank you for giving us this knowledge and preparing us going into Q4 to help us make sure we stay away from these violations, because Q4 November is going to be huge.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Thank you so much for your time, and for everyone else that was here, thank you guys. Do you have anything else you want to? You as well. Do you have anything else you want to add before you jump off of here? That's fine.
This was really fun. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Let's not violate anymore.
That's it. That's all.
That's
Hey,
all I got.
thank you so much
All
for
right.
being here. Have a good one.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. Well, that was definitely fun and interesting. It's nice to be able to hear from TikTok themselves about a lot of the stuff that's been going on, because it's really difficult to kind of figure this stuff out. There's not a lot of clear answers out there for everyone to find. So having this doc is definitely nice to have, because it'll be a lot more clear going forward. Hopefully, at least. Hopefully. Bruce. I've been called Bruce my whole life growing up. So that was nothing new to me there. It happens. It happens. So now violations are going to take 180 days to fall off instead of 90. This is correct. 180 days is wild. But the point of it is to make sure that, creators are following the guidelines. I mean, a lot of creators are out here just raw dogging the algorithm, thinking they can get away with anything. And that's just not the case in any way, shape, or form. TikTok ban, we don't have any information on that right now. That's not what this call was about, unfortunately. We should hopefully have information about that going forward. And that is for violations going forward. That is correct. That is correct. Can we put Black Friday, Cyber Monday fall deals under the same video that gets pushed to them? I have no idea. I would assume so. Why can't they filter out hashtags like weight loss out of shop videos? That would actually be a wonderful thing. I don't know. Give us 50 total points before ban. That's wild. Does it apply to current violations? I don't think so. My mic died and I got a violation. That's crazy. That's crazy. Are you guys just seeing me right now? You should be, right? I guess the stream over here is just way back. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Can you guys make a hashtag list for the holiday campaigns? I think someone made one of those. I want to say Chastity did. I could be wrong. Maybe she just put it in chat one day. Yep, just Bruce. Great. That's going to stick there forever, huh? Going on up there, but this is amazing. Appreciate that. No, you leaked your address again. It's okay. It was my old address. Y'all can have that one. Actually, matter of fact, y'all want to go burn that house down, go ahead. It's infested with mold. House is crazy. I guess the stream is just restarting up there. Weird. All right. Still the Wild Wild West. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I think we're going to call it here. We have recorded a lot of these questions, and hopefully we're going to be able to get some more answers to these, and hopefully they get back to us on some of the questions that were asked. But outside of that, I appreciate you guys for being here as always. This was kind of an off-the-wall stream, and for the 400 of you guys that showed up to this, thank you so much. We will see you guys again next week. I think next Monday we're going to be doing another live stream in the evening similar to this. Next week, I don't know how many Q&A or video review sessions I'm going to be doing. I'm going to Dallas this weekend, and the next week we're going to LA. For any of you guys that'll be at the LA event, let us know. We would love to meet up with as many of you as we can at the event, so hopefully that'll be pretty cool. But outside of that, W's in the chat for Bruce, and W's in the chat for TikTok for spending an hour of their time with us tonight. Excuse me. And allowing us to kind of pick their brains. And, huge W's in the chat for you guys for not being rude and being extremely nice. I appreciate you. I expect nothing less, though. You guys are always the best, and I love it. So thank you so much for being here, guys. Thank you, guys. And we will see you next week. Have a good night, everyone.